lots to talk about. We have the penultimate episode of Loki that has some interesting things going on with that. But the main thrust of our shows would be a lot of news you can't abuse. There's a lot going on. A lot going on the MCU side.
Yep.
I don't know if it's a lot going on. It's a lot of people talking. How's that? There's a lot of people.
I'm sure there's a lot going on in the Marvel studios.
There's some stuff yippee talky.
Right.
We'll get to that. All right.
There's lots of time slipping going on.
Yeah, so let's do a.
I time slipped last night, like an hour.
Okay. You didn't time slip. You just moved your clocks. You moved your time on your clocks.
Potato.
No. I need to address this because I was at a bar Friday night and we talked about this.
Yeah. Okay.
Time. The measurement of time is a human artifice, which means we make up the rules. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
The actual thing that is time is not fake. It is a real thing.
Yes, space-time.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad we don't have to argue that.
That's one thing, right?
Yeah, there you go. There. Anyway, unless you're in the Loki episode, which everything doesn't mean anything. All right.
Well, it's science fiction.
Yeah, but this is interesting. We got to talk about this because
this is a fiction problem.
Yeah. You're right, and the show is making some interesting conversations about itself, which I kind of want to talk about. So anyway, at the end of episode 4, the time loom exploded, and we thought it destroyed everything, but I guess it did destroy the TVA. But it sent Loki into a weird time loop kind of thing where he was like bouncing around a little bit. Now, the TVA is supposed to exist in this weird place where time and space doesn't exist. Like you're actually looking at the presence of time and space as in the time loom. So it's outside of that.
Yeah, the only versions of the TVA we see in this episode is past TVA.
Well, maybe.
You look at the monitors and it's showing like the time that was before the explosion.
Yeah, well, maybe we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
But so Loki bounces around a little bit, and then he starts time slipping again, and then the TVA begins to shred. You can actually see it turn into these weird shreds. It's like
spaghettification.
What's it called?
Spaghettification.
That's the official term.
That is, yeah.
I don't know if I like it, but it's fine.
That's what happens if you enter a black hole. Once you cross the event horizon of a black hole, you're spaghettified.
Spaghettified, okay. And so Loki time slips out of there before he is turned to spaghetti. And he starts bouncing around to different branches where our friends are kind of hanging out. So this is the actual places where they're supposed to be. So he first goes to a place where, what's his face? What's his character's name, Mike? The guy who's at Alcatraz?
He's credited as Frank. But that's, what's his name? Casey.
Yeah.
Casey from the TVA.
Yeah, he goes to Casey first, and Casey's breaking out of Alcatraz, and Casey doesn't know what's going on. And then, he time slips out and goes to B-15, and she's a doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Willis.
A really good doctor. Like I would like that doctor.
We're just talking about Willis.
Yeah. Okay. A really good doctor. And then she sees him, and he time slips away from her. Then he goes to, of course, Mobius, who is he sells jet skis. He has 2 kids.
Personal watercraft salesman.
Yeah. A family guy, and Loki goes to him, and then he slips out. So, and then he finally goes to our boy Obi, who is someone completely different. And Obi's an interesting one because Obi is actually, he writes science fiction.
Yeah, he wants to be a writer, but to support that, he's going to have to get his PhD so he can keep teaching his class in theoretical physics at, what was it, Stanford or something like that?
Yeah. So he teaches theoretical physics, so he's a scientist. So Loki meets him, and Loki tells him what's going on, and then Obi says it's not a science problem, it's a fiction problem.
Right.
And so this is interesting, and I want to address this. What he's saying is you can't travel in time like Loki wants to do, because technically, if the timeline is destroyed, blah blah blah, you can't do that. But Loki can because he time slips. And so what Obi basically says is the rules of the universe don't apply here.
Mm-hmm.
It's the rules of this fictional world that you exist in that applies.
Right.
And so if you look at from like a metafiction sort of thing, it's like, hey, Loki, science isn't going to work. You have to use this ability that you have from somehow and use that to help finish the story.
It's like that thing that you want to do is impossible. But this other thing that you're currently doing is also impossible. But therefore, the thing that is impossible is possible.
Yeah. And well, I mean, there are some serious scientists who talk about, if the universe is a simulation, if we are fiction, like I've had people talk about how every time you write a story, you create a new universe, stuff like that. And so it's
Come on.
What? This is serious stuff.
That's not serious. Every time you write a story, you create a new universe.
Why not? Why is that weird?
Okay.
Why is that such an odd concept, Mike?
That is an odd concept. You can't agree. You can't admit that that's not an odd concept.
We don't know the nature of the universe. You don't know if you could be a fictional character.
That's some magic stuff right there.
You don't know. Magic is only science that you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Okay.
And so if you think about it, Obi's right. Like Loki, you're in a story, and like even Sylvie says that we are writing our own stories now.
Right.
So the show writers are pretty fun. The show writers, I'm digging the show writers. That's back off. The show writers are talking on a higher level about all this stuff, which is fun. And then once Loki realizes that he needs to give up trying to practically save the universe, he gathers all his people. He has a conversation with Sylvie. Sylvie refuses to help because she's selfish, but then she realizes that the universe that she's in is about to get destroyed. So
she completely talks Loki out of helping too. Loki's like, you know what? I was wrong. I was selfish. I was just doing this to try to get my friends back together. Don't worry about it, guys. Just go back to your lives.
And like, look, I mean, Sylvie's a big problem. Sylvie had that handheld TemPad that she stole from He Who Remains. She could have easily bounced
Uber
around.
TemPad, yeah.
She could have easily bounced around with her TemPad as much as she wanted to, but she made Loki struggle. It's just kind of rude. But at the end of the day, everybody realizes that all the universe was shredding because of the time loom and everything else, and then Loki uses his abilities, and he realizes that he can do it, and then he time jumps right before they were about to try to stop the time loom from collapsing. So it's pretty good. Pretty fun stuff. Not exactly what I predicted about a time loop, but very, very close.
Very close. Very close. Yeah. We were thinking maybe there'd be a little bit more of like looping around in here, but you did kind of call it on. He's going to be going back in time and getting the gang back together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So pretty fun. Pretty cool stuff. Basic episode. I like the idea. The higher concepts of storytelling were fun. I think the writing for this episode is fantastic. I think the budget for this episode is off the hook. I mean, it spent a lot of money on set designs and the computer generated imagery and everything else.
I love the bookstore and the record shop.
Yeah, that was really good. Of course, they had to put a record shop in here, so it's the classic thing you do. I want also to highlight something very interesting. I wonder if you saw this, Mike. When all the time displaced people were in the OB's like little like power station kind of thing, did you notice how there was a shot that it looked like OB's old workspace in the TVA? Did you notice that?
No,
If you go back, there's a scene where everybody's just hanging out talking, and Obi's working on something, and it looked like the entrance that you walked into. And so the factory itself, now this is not a proven concept, but the factory that he was working on itself seemed to be like a basic structure of the TVA. And so I was thinking, could this be where it all starts? Like, could Obi be working on the TV? Because like he got the book, and then he created his own TemPad,
right?
Using a typewriter and stuff, which was really cool. And then like, is he going to slowly build up the TVA at that point, and then restructure it, and does it grow from there? I don't know, but I thought it was really interesting, and I think the show was kind of hinting that was where the TVA begins, right there. But I can't confirm or that. So,
I'll have to rewatch those scenes.
Yeah, go back. It's like
that's
it's
interesting.
3/3 of the.
I really enjoyed his set. Like, you know, he apparently was living with his wife at the time, but he's got this cool laboratory somewhere.
Yeah, I would love to have a laboratory, wouldn't you?
That place was super cool. Yeah,
I would love to have a laboratory. Just a place you can kind of go and
just do whatever. Yeah,
do whatever. That'd be kind of fun.
That's That's awesome.
Yeah. So, what did you think of the episode, Mike?
I liked it a lot. Yeah, it's really good. I think maybe I've been hard on Loki earlier on.
I think so.
You know?
I think so. Yeah.
It's a good show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not. I don't know. I don't think it's as good as season 1, but it's a good show.
I think it's getting better. I think this episode was the best they've done.
And I'm really curious. Really enjoyed it.
From the rumors I heard, the ending's going to do a lot. So I don't know for sure what it's going to do. But
I like how they slowly introduce the spaghettification of these multiverses.
Yeah.
The first time you see it is the McDonald's that Sylvie brings out and puts on her truck, spaghettifies.
Mm-hmm.
And then Loki's whiskey glass spaghettifies off camera. Like, you don't see it, but he goes to drink it and it's not there anymore.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's a good catch. Wow.
Yeah. And then you know, the record store. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I like how the record itself starts spaghettifying and floating in space.
I can't even. I can't even imagine the CGI stuff you have to do for that. I wish we had our CGI man back for that.
That would be cool to talk to him about that.
Just imagine all the work you have to do to make that happen. It's just nuts. Mm-hmm. Yep. So what would you grade this, Mike?
Maybe like an A or a B, somewhere around there.
I would give this a strong A minus.
A minus, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, A minus.
Well, we both got a cough.
Yeah, I'm just old. That's just dry air.
Right, I hear you.
But I wish, my only complaint about Loki is that I wish that they would somehow explain all the different time stuff that's going on. I guess OB kind of explained it that Loki's time jumping is a result of fiction, not actual practicality. Because when they use those doors, they're not traveling through time; they're traveling to different branches, and I understand that. But the time travel for Loki, it kind of feels like I wish they would have said time travel. What you're doing, the time slipping that you're doing, is not supposed to be able to be done. Like, we've already established this, yet you're doing it. So I don't know. I think Loki's just kind of given up. I think the MCU and Disney's kind of given up and said, we don't care about this time stuff. Like,
well,
whatever.
I mean, Ke Kwan, I cannot pronounce his name. He did say it's impossible.
Yeah, but I wish there are people who watched Endgame who heard their explanation and took it seriously, and now it's gone. You know, I just kind of wish they would have.
You got to give up on that stupid Endgame stuff.
No, you don't. It's a part.
Endgame was bad. That explanation for time travel was bad.
No, it's not. It's not bad.
No, it's bad.
You might not like it, but I think it's a smart.
Well, there's no scientific basis for it.
Yeah,
it's no better. It's no better than what we're doing here.
I think there is a scientific basis for it. I don't think you can travel through time. You can travel to different points.
You can only travel through time forwards. You can't travel through time backwards.
Yeah, but so it makes sense for them to be able to go to different universes. That makes sense to me, and I think the branches.
But like creating a universe just because one person time travels.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Well, none of this stuff makes sense.
That's a huge violation of the law of thermodynamics. That's like there is no. I can't remember it. Something about the creation of matter.
If we ever time traveled, if anyone
conservation of matter and energy. That's what I'm thinking of.
If anyone ever time traveled, it would destroy the universe. It would literally break everything. And it's just that we can't do it. And that's just it's not a thing. It would not even meant to do that. Why would you want to?
You can do it forwards. You can't do it backwards.
Even if you did it forwards, you're in a place you're not supposed to be. Like, no, everything breaks. You know, it would just literally just go pop, you know, and it would just wouldn't work anymore. It's all set up the way it's supposed to be.
Well, it'd be kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's all set up the way it's supposed to set up. For storytelling reasons, time travel sounds great. Bouncing around, doing time
it's
loops,
awesome.
it's all fun.
And Back to the Future, Loki season 2. Yeah, it's great. It's fun.
But if you're going to create
not
rules,
an end game.
If you're going to create rules, stick to the rules. And if you want to change the rules, you can change them, but you have to talk about why they changed. And the show just ignores that, and I think it's lazy.
No, they're just going back to the Future rules. That's all.
Yeah, but it's lazy. They need to explain it.
It's like an intuitive set of time travel rules that everybody gets.
This is part.
Everybody understand it.
This is part and parcel the reason why Marvel's having issues right now.
You don't need a scene explaining these rules.
No, you do. You do. There's no one at the helm. There's no one running this stuff properly. And okay, listen. Back in the day, back in the 90s, when I read comics, there was a guy that nobody knew his name, but everybody knew he existed, who all he did was read the comics that were published that month, and he made sure that they were all canon, that every story made sense. And if they didn't, they had to fix it, or there had to be some kind of explanation.
Oh, man, you wanted that job, didn't you?
Oh, of course. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like, imagine being the guy in the room who says, that's not right. You can't do that. That character can't do that. And the MCU never had that. They were flying by the seat of their pants the whole time. Everybody was buying the tickets and everybody was super excited.
Yeah,
but now look, it's a mess. It's an actual storytelling mess. And a lot of this stuff could be fixed if there was one person who had all the stuff.
I don't know why you have so much of a problem with the storyteller. I mean, it's going to be self-contained. This isn't going to spread to the rest of the MCU.
It definitely is going to spread to the rest of the
MCU.
How? I've already heard that the finale spreads. I already heard that.
Well, the finale, but what about the time travel? Does the time travel 100%
spread? 100% it scores. Yeah, at some point it scores.
Well, good. It's a better version of time travel than what they've been doing in the past.
It might even spread in Marvels.
Okay.
Yeah, but again,
I don't have a problem with that.
I do, and it's okay that you don't have a problem with it, and it's okay that I have a problem with it.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious, listeners, which side you're on. You're probably on Mike's side, which is fine.
Yeah, of course they are.
It's just lazy and sad. All right. Okay.
It's just fixing things that are making things better than they were. That's all.
I mean, okay. Let me explain it this way. If you know there's a back door all the time that you can go to fix narrative problems or bring back characters that people like, then you always do it, and it doesn't allow you to be more creative. And I feel like now, if this time
only certain people can time travel. You need like a Tim Pad or to be a Loki.
The Tim Pads don't time travel. Tim Pads travel to different branches. Now they can't go in different times to different branches. That's true, but technically they don't travel to them. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Not really. All right, we're looking forward to Loki season finale. It comes out on Thursday. Mike, we have to do some scheduling stuff because we have a very busy next couple. Yeah,
next week is Loki finale and
Marvels. Yeah, so we got to figure that out. We'll do that off the mic. But we do have some very heavy news you can't abuse. Mike, you ready to talk about this stuff?
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Oh, let's start with the first one. Variety. Crisis at Marvel. Jonathan Majors backup plans. The Marvels reshoots, reviving original Avengers, and more issues revealed. So this is a big article written by Tatiana Siegel about all the problems that Marvel's had, and blah blah blah. There's a big takeaways from this.
It's a really good article. Really good article.
Yeah. First takeaway, and this is a paragraph in the article.
You know, a lot of articles you'll read and you'll be like, why are they even talking about this? The first several paragraphs is just a waste of space and a waste of my time. I'm just going to stop reading this article. That's not how this Variety article is. It's actually it's interesting all the way through.
Yeah, I want to speak on that, but let me read this. So here it says, at the gathering at Palm Springs, executives discussed backup plans, including pivoting into another comic book adversary like Dr. Doom, but making any shift would carry its own headaches. Now listen, the writer says like Dr. Doom, but no one says that they're thinking about Dr. Doom, so I want to make that clear. Majors was already a big presence in the MCU, including as a scene stealing antagonist in February's Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and he has been positioned at the franchise's next big thing in the season of Loki, particularly in the finale, which airs on November 9th. So Kang is going to be in the finale in some form. And then it says Marvel is truly effed with the whole Kang angle, says one top dealmaker who has seen the Loki finale, and they haven't had an opportunity to rewrite it until very recently because of the strike. but I don't see a path how they can move forward. So Kang's going to be a big part of the finale. It just says it right here.
That's what it says, and I'm having a hard time keeping straight in my head what I've heard about the finale of this season of Loki. But to me, it seems like the series so far has way less to do with Kang than what I was expecting it to have to do with Kang.
Yeah.
So it seems like it seems like the Kang stuff has been underplayed in this series. Maybe that continues through the finale. Or maybe these reports are right and there is like a big Kang thing in the finale. I don't know.
They couldn't have done any reshoots. The actors are on strike. So
no, I mean this was like wrapped before the strike. They could have done.
Yeah, so I think Kang's going to show up at the finale. I think we're going to see a big thing at Kang. But then we go on and say, beyond the bad press from majors, the brain trust of Marvel is also grappling with November release of Marvel as a sequel to 2019's Captain Marvel that has been plagued with lengthy reshoots and now appears likely to underwhelm. So apparently that they showed the Marvels to a test audience in Texas. I'm not sure why they're showing it to people in Texas. They don't know anything. But the Texas people didn't like it.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. Yeah, these people carry guns around like it's candy, so I don't know if we really want to show them movies. But then, like, they didn't like it. And again, it might not be. I mean, it's a female led thing.
Another reason why are we showing it in Texas?
I don't know. So maybe that's not it. I will say I have watched a couple of trailers, and there's one trailer that looks absolutely fantastic, and it looks fun and kinetic.
I mean, I love the first trailer. First trailer had me hooked.
There's a trailer where a fight scene where Kamala is in space fighting, and it looks awesome. And again, I'm actually really looking forward to this, but I don't know. People in Texas didn't like it. But then so it says here like the Marvel machine was pumping out a lot of content. Did it get to the point where there was just too much and they were burning people out on superheroes as possible, says Wall Street analyst Eric Handler, who covers Disney. The more you do, the tougher it is to maintain quality. They try experiment with breaking in some new characters like Shang-Chi and Eternals with mixed results. With budgets as big as these, you need help. Shang-Chi was a great movie. It's probably one of the best MC movies they made. So I don't know why he mentions that. Eternals. I want to
do. Here's the podcast for like when we have a lull between things that I've been thinking about. All these movies. What were they? What like? Do you have an idea for how they would have linked into broader MCU? Because I don't get it.
I think we need to have.
It just seems scattershot to me.
We need to have an episode about all the lingering questions from the movies, like Shang-Chi and the Rings, Eternals.
The Eternals. What the heck?
We need to have an episode where we go to all the lost threads and try to.
Exactly. Loose threads. That's exactly what I was thinking.
We'll do a loose threads. I was thinking the same thing. Loose threads episode coming up soon.
Okay. Yeah.
Here's a couple other things. Apparently, She-Hulk costs $25 million an episode. It's like.
Dang.
What? And the CGI was terrible. They actually explain why She-Hulk's CGI was bad.
Yeah, it's what I always say. They didn't have enough time.
Yeah, it says here, but some eternal sources suggest Alonso was a scapegoat and point to the She-Hulk visual effects issues as a symptom of a deeper rot, namely a lack of oversight on script development. In the original arc of She-Hulk, a flashback of star Tatiana Maslany's transformation into the Hulk character didn't take place until episode 8, the penultimate episode. But after Marvel's Brain Trust watched the footage, it realized the scene needed to happen in the pilot episode so that audiences could see more of the character's backstory. That meant that the visual effects team was tasked with fixing the mess in post-production. That explains a lot of why it looks so bad. The visual effects people had no time at all.
Yeah.
That's just completely wild.
That seems to be Kevin Feige's MO, is he just fixes everything in post-production.
Well, you can't do that with all this stuff. It doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a mess. There's a bunch of other stuff in this Variety article as well. I want to say something, and I want to make this pretty clear. Bad news gets clicks. Mm-hmm. And there is a problem with the media currently right now where all they want to do is post things that are negative to get clicks. And I can understand this article is really well researched and really well done, but it just feels like it was a hit piece to get people to talk about it, and that's fine. But at the end of the day,
I'm wondering what their source is. Somebody inside of Marvel Studios fed them this, right?
Yeah, but like, and like it just happens right when the Marvels is coming out, so it's like it's going to affect Marvel's the people who go see it. It feels kind of like problematic for me for news organizations to all like it's just now this is just not me just making it up. There's been scientific evidence. There's been studies that says that bad news generates clicks. People want to read bad news to verify why things are bad, and people will not click on good things. If there was an article that says Marvel, the MCU and Disney a success story, everybody loves Marvel movies, here's why, no one's reading that. Like no one cares. But if you say Marvel's falling apart, it's the end, oh my God, everybody's going to click on it. For some reason, human beings are doom seekers. We want to see our end. We need it. We need to see it. But at the end of the day, this article is giving us information that's important, but I don't think it's as doom and gloom as you think it is. And I think people need to take a breath. Like Marvel's not going to stop making Marvel movies. That's not going to happen. They make too much money off of them. Even if it makes like $400 million.
No, I mean they'll just keep making bad ones.
I think that this is going to fix it. I think the Marvels is going to be better than you think it is. And from what we saw from a trailer that's coming out soon, they will be fine. And we'll talk about that in a little bit.
I don't think we'll see a fixed Marvel until after the next Captain America movie.
I don't know.
I think it's too late for them to fix that.
I think the next Captain America movie is going to be okay.
I mean, maybe it is, but they're internal problems. They've definitely got internal problems. We saw that writ large with Secret Invasion,
which they didn't mention at all.
I think it was mentioned in there, maybe offhandedly. But a well-functioning studio would not release Secret Invasion.
No, I agree with that.
So there's definitely problems. I think they'll fix them, and I think the first example of it being fixed will be whatever comes out after Captain America. Because I think Captain America is just going to be what it is, and either that's a good movie or a bad movie.
We haven't even seen
irrespective of them trying to fix anything.
We haven't even seen anything for Captain America movie yet, so we don't know.
Right, but I think it's far enough along that their internal fixes aren't going to be seen in Captain America.
Okay. The Verge also has a different article. Both the Verge and the Variety piece talks about the director for the Marvels kind of just dipped halfway. When she was making the movie, she was like doing another movie.
That's like I'm sure she talked to them about it, and I'm sure everybody's like, yeah. Directors don't really even do anything on post-production for Marvel movies. Go ahead. And now they're just looking for a scapegoat, and they're saying, "Oh, hey, she left during post-production." Yeah. That's how I think it went down.
Well, if you listen to this,
because remember, they look for directors that don't have VFX experience, so that Marvel can really be the director for all of the visual effects.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read this quote from The Verge. Who's the writer for this? Alex Kranz, and he says here, but the buzz coming out of Disney around the Marvels is so bleak. I've been left wondering why the company even wants to release this film, because it sure doesn't seem to have much confidence in it. Some of the biggest bad buzz is around the news that DaCosta moved onto her next project, Hida, while the Marvels was still in post-production. It can be a very bad sign if a director leaves the film's production while it's still being made, but it can also be a good thing. Steven Spielberg shot Schindler's List while Jurassic Park was in post, and Wong Kar-wai did the same with Chungking Express while Ashes of Time was in post. And moreover, I really want to stress this part. This is how movies and TV shows are made at Marvel. Some filmmakers even refuse to work with the studio because it holds so much creative power over the finished product. And like, this is, again, I don't know if people are doing this justifiably or unjustifiably, but Captain Marvel also got hammered before it came out. And now the Marvels is coming out, and now people are like, poo, this might be bad. Like, it's just like, what are we doing? Like, why is it's very convenient that whenever a woman-led project from Marvel comes out, everybody's pooping on it. Like, it's like, what are you doing? Like, why is this something that people constantly do? You know? Like, right. I guarantee you, every Marvel project that came out did reshoots, you know? And like, it doesn't mean anything. A reshoot doesn't necessarily mean bad stuff. It just means a reshoot. Yeah. So some of this stuff kind of feels like a hit piece, especially when it's coming out the week before the Marvels come out. Like if someone's reading this and they're thinking, I'm not going to see the Marvels, look at what they're going through. That might affect sales, and I don't even want to know what the guys.
Well,
in the basement
when was this event
with.
that Marvel held? Their
I don't know,
kind of their offsite, whatever they call it.
I forget.
I think that's the timing of the articles based around that meeting that they had.
Yeah. It is what it is. I mean, we are going to watch the Marvels. I'm hoping it's going to be good. It might not be. But
no, I hope it's as good as that first trailer looked.
Yeah, it deserves a fair shake. That's what I'm saying. And I don't feel like these articles are giving it a fair shake. The rest of the stuff they're talking about, I think, is fair. And I think Jonathan Majors is a big problem for Marvel. They got to figure that out, you know?
Yeah.
So, again, lots of stuff going on with the Marvels right now. I suggest if you're a big fan of the MCU, read both articles about it, come to your own conclusions. We talk about this all the time. But I think the Variety article gave us more information that I thought was interesting than the Verge did. What do you think?
I mean, I think I think it was a great article, the Variety article. I think a lot of that's true. I think they're scapegoating the director of the Marvels, and they scapegoated the head of their VFX. I think Kevin Feige is more of the problem than anybody at Marvel wants to admit. And so people that were just proximately in charge of things are getting all the bad news thrown their way.
It also feels like if you read this source, a familiar source of production said, if you're directing a $250 million movie, it's kind of weird for the director to leave with a few months to go. That sounds like someone. Not. No, it's not weird, and it feels like someone's saying that just to make the movie fail. It's just odd.
Yeah,
it's just weird. I mean, I feel like Iman Vellani is going to carry the Marvels all the way to the box office and be a hit. She's such a great actress. So. But we'll just have to wait and see. But again, like I said before, it is so easy to write articles like this because people go click, 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 and read them. But I feel like in some regards, it's not. I think the Variety piece was fair. I don't think the Verge piece was fair.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I hear you.
Anyway, lastly, and this is some good.
I mean, news. we were all broken by Secret Invasion, but look, like Loki is good, and Loki is something that came out after Secret Invasion.
That's true. Loki is good.
So the Marvels could be good. Yeah. You know, just because Marvel is definitely, absolutely, fully having problems in their production doesn't mean that good things can't also come out, because we're seeing it here with Loki.
Yeah, and also, if I was Marvel, I would be like, okay, we need to right the ship, and it's not going to be hard for them to right the ship. And I think just like, if we look at the schedule this year, cutting back on how many movies you come out with, cutting back on how many shows come out, cutting back on that stuff, and focusing on quality over quantity. We heard that months ago. Mm-hmm. Let's let that stuff pan out. And I think the people who like these movies will be fine with 1 or 2 Marvel movies a year, like Star Wars. Like you get one big Star Wars movie every few years, like, and then you get one sequentially. But I feel like the Star Wars stuff is a big good thing going on right now at Disney, and the Marvel stuff is taking a back seat, and that's fine. Like, at some point, it'll switch, and it's okay. But slow it down, get stuff out of the can, make it quality, make people enjoy it, and then move on and then see how it goes. But again, this doom and gloom stuff is like kind of ridiculous to me. And plus, we have the writer strike and we have the actor strike that's going to affect all this stuff. So come on, what are we doing? Lastly, Mike, please tell me you watched the Echo trailer.
Of course I did. Yeah.
Oh my dude. Where did this come from?
I've been saying all along that I'm looking forward to Echo.
Where did this come? One thing that I did not care about at all, and then I saw this trailer. I'm like, I gotta watch this. Did you see the level of gore? They showed a guy getting his head shot out. Like, they showed a literal gun to a guy's head. There's mad gore. There's a blink if you miss it scene with Daredevil.
I saw that.
Dark.
Yep.
It looks scary. You got Kingpin being Kingpin. It looks absolutely fantastic. January 9th. It's going. Oh my gosh! It's just wow.
Well, how are we going to do that? Because they're going to drop the whole thing.
We want to watch it, the whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we're going to have to binge it and then.
Wait, are you sure they're going to watch the whole thing?
Huh?
Are you sure they're going to drop the whole thing?
Yeah, they're dropping the whole thing. Yep.
Yeah, we're going to have to binge it.
Yeah.
I don't know. We have to figure it out.
Yep.
Ooh. Yeah. We haven't done that ever, have we?
The closest we got to it is our first podcast episode, which is we had watched Falcon and Winter Soldier week by week, but then our first podcast was after that was over, so we talked about the whole series.
You know, we could do it sequentially, just one episode a week, and just, you know.
But we're going to get spoiled by the internet. The internet's going to spoil it for us if we do that.
How many episodes is it?
I don't know.
I can't watch 6 episodes back to back. We're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, it's gonna be some extra work for sure.
Yeah, the Echo trailer looks fantastic. Echo,
it looks really, really good. I've been looking forward to Echo for a long time. I'm glad that it's actually coming out. Yeah, I was worried there for a while.
They had a cool scene in a fight scene where it was all because she's a deaf character and she has like one leg. In the comics, she has both legs. I'm not sure why they took away one of her legs. I'm not sure why they did that.
Maybe the actress actually is missing a leg. I don't know.
Maybe. I didn't even think about that, but that's actually a really good point. Yeah, you know what? That might be right. And like just the level of violence, you know what it reminds me of, Mike? It reminds me of old school Daredevil.
Yeah.
It really does.
Looks like it's gonna be good.
There is no coincidence, Mike, that this trailer dropped after all these other articles came out. That's not a coincidence. Marvel's like, okay, you think we're done? Here's Echo. Have fun with it. Yeah. You know, like, here. Oh, you like it? Oh, okay. Okay, shut up now. Thank you. Okay. It's just hilarious. It's just really, really funny. I can't wait for that to come out.
It's also their first show that's going to be on Disney Plus and Hulu.
Mm-hmm. So, and that might be the way forward, because I think more people watch Hulu than they watch Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Wow, man. You know what they should do? They should pump up all the old Daredevil episodes and then kind of connect Echo to it. So, like, everybody thinks it's in the same kind of ecosystem. That'd be fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now, it's so surprising this is connected to Hawkeye. Maybe Hawkeye is a holiday thing. Maybe they're going to try to pump out Hawkeye to get people primed for Echo in January. You know, Hawkeye around Christmas. I'll probably watch it again. You know.
Yeah, it's a good rewatch. Hawkeye's a really good rewatch.
Yeah. What's her face gets on my nerves, but other than that, yeah, watch the Echo trailer. It's really good. There's also a couple of new Marvel trailers. If you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch them. But there's a couple of them that are just super fun. Super fun.
Yeah, I'm done watching the Marvels trailers. I'm just gonna
what I've seen with Amon Villani, she's just hilarious, and I'm really stoked. Anyway, that's our episode. I think we don't have anything else to really talk about. That's a lot to talk about.
Coming up next is the finale of Loki.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and hang out with us, guys, for all your.
We're gonna live post about that, right, on Mastodon.
Yeah, we'll talk about some schedule stuff. We'll deal with it. But I want to thank everybody for listening to our podcast. I want to thank everybody for being with us through this craziness. And Mike, how can people share this with their friends and family?
Hit the share button. Do it right now. Share it with your friends, your family, your neighborhood. Just share it with your entire neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Walk around door to door. Say, hey, have you listened to this podcast yet? It's pretty good.
Yeah, let me see your phone. I'll download it for you.
Right, yeah.
or just have your phone up if you have an iPhone, and then just drop it through AirDrops. Just walk around the neighborhood and just drop through AirDrops. Yeah, kids don't know how to block that, so you can throw anything you want in the AirDrop. Right. And they'll get
play it like what's that movie where he's got the jam box?
Oh, Say Anything.
Say Anything. He's just standing in the yard.
Yeah, standing in the yard. Box. Yeah. You hear me and Mike argue about time travel in fictional worlds. And then a woman looks out and she's like, "What is this?" You know, it's a Super Sideshow. Listen to it. You know,
right? I think that's the best thing to do.
You know, I wonder if we have like a loyal following of like teenagers, like this, like 1 or 2 random kids who listen to this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be cool. Yeah.
Anyway. All right, guys, we got a lot of podcasting things going on in the next couple of weeks. So, you know, keep up to your updates and everything else. Check Mastodon for any updates, and we'll try to keep you guys apprised as much as we can. We appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.